If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as follow me and subscribe to me on all my other social media platforms. What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and it is that time of the year. It's list season, ladies and gentlemen. And, well, starting today through to the end of the week, not only are you seeing more of the 12 Days of Metal series going on, but starting today through Friday, you're going to get a second video every day, and these are going to be for the Album of the Year lists. So yes, I am doing top 50 albums of 2022. So to kind of summarize this year in terms of metal, it's been a hell of a year for metal. Largely, I would say this was the year for prog, death, and thrash metal in particular. Like, all three genres were, in my opinion, the strongest genres of the year. But there was also some black metal that came out this year that was really, really strong. And even a couple of doom albums that were really good as well. And, hell, you might even get a couple of random surprises here and there, especially with this list. But without further ado, let's get started. So this first part is going to be numbers 50 through 41. So yeah, we're going to go every 10 albums for each video. So today it'll be 50 through 41, then it'll be 40 through 31, etc, etc. You get the idea. But with that said, let's get started with number 50. And number 50 is Damericus with Chaotic Lethal. So yeah, this album kind of sprung out of nowhere. I only heard about this album thanks to my boys over at the Thralls of Metal, because turns out Jammin' John is friends with the guys in this band, since they are an Indianapolis-based death thrash band, and I thought, you know, death thrash, I do love me some death thrash. And after seeing the Thralls guys talk about Damericus, I was like, you know what? I'm going to check this band out and see what they're all about. And holy shit, there is one thing they're all about, and that's aggression. Like, this album is as aggressive as you can possibly get for a death thrash band, especially just in the neighboring state from me in Indiana. Don't really know very many Indiana-based metal bands, but Damericus is a nice one to talk about. And this, unfortunately, is their final album, because they broke up months after the album came out. I think they broke up just 2 months ago, which is unfortunate, because I would have loved to have heard more from this band going forward. But they left us off with a hell of a closing point in their history book with Chaotic Lethal, as this was a hell of a journey of death thrash. Coming in at number 49, we have Decapitated with Cancer Culture. As some of you guys know, I'm a big Decapitated fan, particularly of the early days, like Winds of Creation. I think that is one of the best modern death metal debut albums, period. And ever since their return back in 2011, they really haven't been on my radar, mostly because a lot of the stuff that they've released since their return just does not really feel like Decapitated to me. Not really much of a tech death metal band, more of like technical groove metal, if that makes any sense. Like, the vocals changed, a lot of the songwriting changed. But here with Cancer Culture, it was almost like they wanted to mix a little bit of what they were doing on like their more recent output, but bring back some of the old school Decapitated moments from Winds of Creation, The Negation, Nility, Organic Hallucinosis, like the early days mixed with their modern mindset. And this album has so much going for it. There's a lot of great technical moments, there's some heavy chugs, some cool melody, cool grooves, and even some atmosphere comes in on here, and like the vocals are just out of range. There's all sorts of crazy, even little bits of blackened moments, kind of like Behemoth, their fellow countrymen. But yeah, Cancer Culture by Decapitated, I think this was a great return to form for Decapitated, and I can't wait to hear if they keep going back into the technical death metal direction. We shall see. But yeah, my number 49. Number 48, some people will be shocked I have this album this low on the list, but there's just a lot of heavy competition, and even a favorite band of mine won't be immune from being higher on the list. I'm probably saying that wrong, but you get the idea. At number 48, we have Megadeth, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. The long-awaited album since Dystopia in 2016, and a lot has changed with Megadeth since then. Ellefson out, new bassist with James Lomenzo, even though on the album it was Steve DiGiorgio. Dirk Verburen on drums, and Dave going through throat cancer for a little while. So a lot of stuff going on in the Megadeth world in between Dystopia and The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. This album still fucking rips. Like, it's heavy as balls. There's lots of different things coming in, like the Dirk Blast. We finally got blast beats on a Megadeth album, which was really cool. Steve DiGiorgio does a great job with the bass work on here. Mustaine is sounding as good as he can vocally, but the guitar work, like Dave and Kiko, just unleash some really cool leads, great riffing. Top to bottom, this was a hell of an album, and it was well worth the wait. Now, let's just see what happens when we get another Megadeth album. Where are they going to go next? But yeah, this is my number 48. Number 47, I have a very strong prog metal album that came out, and that's Queensryche with Digital Noise Alliance. So yeah, Queensryche, ever since they split away from Jeff Tate and they got Todd La Torre on vocals, they've been on a roll, kind of going back to being actually Queensryche instead of everything that they've been post-Empire, pre-self-titled album in 2013. Like, that whole, like, middle Jeff Tate era, just terrible. Absolutely terrible. Like, after Empire, before the self-titled, do not recommend. But here, since Todd La Torre's been the vocalist of the band, they just keep getting better and better during the Todd La Torre era, and I would say this album, Digital Noise Alliance, I would say is their strongest album since Empire. Like, there's a lot of great classic metal worship going on with this album, on top of their progressive songwriting, great vocal hooks, cool riffs, some awesome choruses, just top to bottom. For prog metal giants like Queensryche, they definitely delivered us with something quite magical. And I would say the best of the Todd La Torre era, bar none. Coming in at number 46, now the next two entries are going to be very similar to one another, as they're both Death Doom albums with similar kind of grossness, but one's new and one's older. And it's the younger band that ends up at 46, which is Nighthagg with Phantasmal Scourge. So this was a debut album from this Death Doom act, and holy shit, they were able to deliver some gross and slow churning Death Doom. Like, whenever it gets into the death metal parts, they really know how to just absolutely kill it whenever it comes to the death metal parts. When it slows down into the doom metal realm, they really know how to make everything sound as oppressive and bleak as you can. And plus, two cover songs. They covered a Necrophagia song and a Mortician song, and both covers were very, very strong. So, for a debut album, I can't wait to hear what this band has in store next, because this was a hell of a debut from a new Death Doom band, and I definitely recommend you guys check it out. Now at number 45, it's another Death Doom band that's kind of in the similar vein, but much older, and that is Druid Lord with Relics of the Dead. Again, kind of similar to the Nighthagg album, it's very oppressive, but yet very disgusting sounding. Kind of like Autopsy on fucking heroin or something, I don't know. But it's just nasty, it's gory, it's gruesome. Like, again, Relics of the Dead, pretty self-explanatory as to what kind of lyrical themes that you're going to get on here. And also really cool album cover as well. But yeah, Druid Lord has been really killing it in the Death Doom scene for a little while now, and I look forward to hearing what else they have in store. And fucking Druid Lord. Coming in at number 44, it's still Death Doom, but it's on a much different wavelength of death doom, and that is Rise to the Sky with Every Day a Funeral. So yeah, atmospheric, melodic death doom right here from this one-man project out of Chile. Sergio just keeps delivering some dark, heavy, yet depressing stuff right here. And this album, top to bottom, it is just bleak. It's just somber. It's filled with sorrow. Yet it has plenty of heaviness attached, but great melodies and some cool, like, drawn-out sections that really kind of make you pay attention to what's happening in the background in terms of, like, the mood, the murk, the oppression, like, everything about this. Really, every album from this project you should check out. But yeah, Every Day a Funeral, maybe not as strong as some of the stuff that came out last year for me, or even the year prior, but still very strong stuff. And I recommend, for those of you who have not checked out Rise to the Sky, check out Sergio's stuff. You will not be disappointed. Be prepared to get some tissues out in case you start crying, but it's great stuff nonetheless. Coming in at number 43, now we're going to, for the next 3 entries, the final 3 entries of part 1, we're going to get very thrashy, with starting off with Defacatory with Apocalypse. I remember checking this album out for Under the Radar, and I was just like, holy shit, where did this band come from? And this band showcasing their own brand of old school thrash, but done in the modern sense. And I'm still disappointed I have not been able to get my hands on this album yet. But then again, I haven't checked it out for a little while, just because I've just been caught up with so many other things. But still, when I remember checking it out, and it's like, holy shit, you want to talk about aggression to the max. This album was definitely one of the most aggressive albums in the thrash metal world of 2022. And it's just filled with anger, rage, fury, brutality, like just everything you love about classic thrash done in the modern sense, you get on this album. So definitely check this out if you haven't already, and it is my number 43. Coming in at number 42, might be a bit biased considering I'm friends with the frontman and bassist, but I don't care. Hatred with The Veil of Shadows. Yeah, I'm friends with Cody Sousa, who is the son of Zetro Sousa from Exodus, and this is the project of the Sousa family, and that is Hatred. And I watch Cody on Twitch playing bass on his streams, as well as occasional podcasts. He's a great bass player and a hell of a vocalist, filled with energy. He definitely carries the spirit of his father, Zetro, with his vocal delivery, with that, like, unwieldy, unhinged style, but throws in some death growls in there, too. So this is almost death thrash a little bit, because there are moments where it gets so fast, it's almost death metal fast, but it's still thrash at its core, and it's kick-ass. The Sousa brothers just absolutely owning everything on this album. Great production, awesome riffs, killer beats, great bass work from Cody as well, not to mention not just his great crazy vocals, but hell of a bass player too. So definitely check out Hatred Veil of Shadows if you haven't already. And then for the final entry of part 1, number 41, we get to a German thrash legend, and that is Protector with Excessive Outburst of Depravity. So yeah, Protector, like I said in the, I believe it was in Under the Radar when I talked about him, yeah, they were in that early era of the German thrash scene, a little bit afterwards, like in the late 80s, early 90s, and they were always kind of on the cusp of like a death thrash band. This album pretty much takes the anger and fury of German thrash, mixing it with a little bit of that death metal brutality, and just creates something really cool. And this album, it's sinister, it's evil, it's heavy, it's brutal, it's aggressive. Again, every adjective you can think of in terms of describing heavy, extreme thrash. And Protector, I feel, is a very underrated band in that German scene. I think definitely start with this album. I think this is not a bad place to start for this band, because this album kicked ass, filled with pus, fury, blah. Just check it out. Don't take my word for it. Check it out for yourself. But anyways, that is part 1 of the top 50 albums of 2022. Stick around tomorrow and the rest of the week for the remaining albums I'm going to be talking about. But until then, horns high. See you guys later.